All right, I'm going to give this a shot. This is drawing 3 for activity 1.2.4, where you are supposed to model this part in Fusion 360 and then place it onto a drawing sheet and properly dimension it. The original assignment gave you only this, and you were supposed to use this this grid paper here to kind of come up with, like what the dimensions were for it. So you have a scale down here, and you had to say, this is 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So I have that done right here, where I have the part properly dimensioned, and all I got to do is build it in Fusion 360. So the first thing I'm going to do is just make a box, kind of like what I did for the last part, and then cut away the parts that I don't need anymore. So it looks like the base of the box is, actually I might do the side, is 3 inches by 3.5 inches. So it's 3 inches high by 3.5 inches wide. So in Fusion 360, make sure that the first thing you're going to do is create a new component. I am going to call this activity, well, drawing 3. Let's just go 1.2.4. And now that I've done it, I'm also going to save it. I'm going to give it the same name. And I am ready to go. So, create a new sketch. The new sketch is a box, and that box is, it's in millimeters. I will escape and go up here to document settings and make sure that I change this to inches. Now I will make a box that is 3 inches by 3.5 inches. And hit finish sketch. Everything is black, so I'm ready to go ahead and extrude. I'm going to check my drawing one more time. As I extrude it this way then, because I had 3 by 3.5, 3 inches high by 3.5 wide, it's 2.5 for the extrusion. So click on the face, click on extrude. I'm going to have that go 2.5, and there's my basic box. So I'm going to cut down into the box. I think from the top is going to give me the best view for this. So the first thing I want to do as I cut down from the top is I want to know what this is. And it looks like this square, it looks like on the top view, it's 2 inches this way, and then 1.5 inches that way. So in Fusion 360, I'm going to create a drawing on the top. So create sketch. And from the top, in this corner right here, I'm going to go 1.5 for that side and 2.0 for that side. And everything's black because I started from a point that I actually knew where that was in space. Now I just got to figure out how far down to drive this cut that I'm going to do. And it looks like from the top of the box down into the box, it's going to be 1.5 total. So from the bottom up to here is 1.5. So this space right here isn't dimensioned, but I can figure it out really easily. So I need to go down 1.5 inches. So click on the face, hit extrude, push into my part, and I am going to do that at 1.5 inches and hit OK. Now I have to do another cut or another extrusion. So I'm going to once again create this on the top of my box. So I'm going to hit OK right there and go up and create a new drawing, and it's going to spin my box around. And if I look at what I want to do now, I want to create this little ledge. So to create that little ledge, it looks like, what do we got from down here? It's going to be up to 2, and it's a 1/2 inch kind of little L shape there. So a 1/2 inch L shape. So I'm going to draw that this way, I think, in Fusion 3. So I'm going to use the line tool in this case. And I'm going to start there, and I'm going to put a line all the way over there. I'm going to hit escape. I'm going to use the line tool again, and I'm just going to start down here, and I'm going to go all the way up there. So I'm not being really very precise with my lines at all. It looks like some kind of constraint was put in here. I don't think I want those, so I'm going to delete them. And I don't really want that constraint either, so I'm going to delete it, because sometimes it puts in constraints automatically. To make my 1/2 inch ledge, I'm going to go there. Oh, that was already 1/2 inch. That was perfect. And I'm going to dimension this way the same way. 0.5. And then I'm just going to trim. And then I got to make sure that I close this shape, because if I don't close the shape, I'm not going to be able to cut down what I want to cut down. So to close the shape, I'm just going to kind of go and put the rest of these lines in, which, because I'm starting with geometry that I know, all of those lines went in as black lines, because it has everything that it needs to know where those are in space. Some other automatic constraints applied. I'm just going to leave those. Hit finish my sketch. Now you can see what that sketch looks like, and I just need to know how far down into the part to cut that, and it goes down into the part a 1/2 inch. So in Fusion 360, I'm going to highlight what I want to extrude. I'm going to hit the extrude button, go down in, and it goes down into my part 1/2 inch. So I'm well on my way. The only thing I have left to do is to put that circle in, and the circle is 1 inch in diameter, and it looks like it's right in the middle on this side. See how this is 1 inch out of 2, and right in the middle on that side. So there's a really quick way you can do that when you're doing a circle. It's a really nice feature that they put in there. So I'm going to click here and say that I want to do a new sketch. And it's called scrubbing on the line. So I'm going to grab my circle, but before I start drawing my circle in, I'm going to go up here, or I could go down here, and I'm going to scrub out. So see how I'm just rubbing on the line? And then I'm going to go into the part, and I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to rub up and down on this. And now that I've done that, I've told it that I wanted to use those two lines to help me reference where my circle goes. So if I move in, I'll get to a spot where it snaps to place. And it's hard to see, but there's a little blue line that shows up. That's the center point of that line. And if I move up, I get to another spot where it snaps to a spot. That's the center point of this line. So when I get both snaps, that's the center point. And then I clicked, and it said 1.0. Now, this should be a fully dimensioned circle when I'm done. It still shows up that it's blue, which is okay. That just means I'm going to have to give it some dimensions. So ideally, it should know where those are, but sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just going to put the dimensions in. I already knew that that was 1 because I used the center point that way. And I'm just going to dimension it from this line up as well. And that should be 0.75. That's exactly what was in the drawing. And by scrubbing on the lines, it helped me find that really quickly and easily. So there we go. Got my sketch done. Let's see if that goes all the way through the part. And I can see over here it does go all the way through the part. So in Fusion 360, click on that little circle. I'm going to go up here to extrude. I'm going to make it go in. And I'm not going to put a distance. I'm just going to say cut all the way through. Okay. And my part is now done. And I am ready to put that onto a drawing sheet. So I'm going to make sure I hit save. And then up here under the File menu, go down to New Drawing. From Design, click. When it opened up this dialog box, it did not find my template. I don't know why. That's okay. So where it says template, I'm going to click, and I need to use one of the title blocks that I've created previously. If you don't know where that is, you're going to have to browse for it, but I'm going to select Project Lead the Way title block, hit OK. And here's my part on a title block page. When I just hover over, it's going to automatically give me the front view. It chooses a scale that it thinks is appropriate for the page. I am not going to change that scale, but I am going to click the second icon. Click, go up, oops, sorry, hit OK. And now my object is placed. Click on the object, right click, project view. I'm going to go up and place that view. And I'm going to give myself an isometric over here. Click, place that view. And just to show you that I can, I'm going to put the right view in. I don't think I need it for anything, but I'm going to drop it in there. I hit escape to get out of that menu where I was dropping my views and everything becomes wireframe and hidden lines. Double click this picture, change it into a solid object, and hit close because we like the isometric to be solid. So I just need to dimension this so that somebody else could indeed dimension this if they needed to. Any place where you can see the whole face, you put the whole center mark in. So I click on whole center mark, hover over the edge of my hole, and click. If it's a hidden line hole, we're going to put the center line in. So I'm going to click on center line, click on one side of the center line, click on the other side, and the center line goes in automatically. And at this point, I just need to start dimensioning the three shapes. I usually do length, width, and height first. And once you have those in, you don't need to put them on any other view. So I'm going to click on the little box that says dimension. Oh, did not mean to get that line. I'm going to do my length by clicking here, going all the way across, and clicking here. And that is, whoa, don't move that around, 3.5. And then I'm going to go up here to dimension, and I'm going to click on the top line, click on the bottom line, and that is 3. All right, so a couple of important features that I would need to know where they are. I need to know where these steps are as I'm creating the steps. Keep in mind that you always work with your largest dimensions first. So I'm going to click on the dimensioning tool and get that step and put it in. And then I still need to know where this step is. This is the best view to dimension these. So I'm going to put the one in there. And when I put the one in there, all right, I'm just going to take this little number 1 that's here, click on it, and drag it so it's in between, because that one will look nicer if it's in between there. And I can just drag these other ones down so that they just look a little bit nicer in the drawing view. There we go. And then same thing on the other side. Notice I'm putting my dimensions in between the diagrams. So over here on the other side, I'm going to click on the bottom, go all the way up because your biggest dimension should be furthest away. And I need one more dimension in there yet for somebody to be able to do this on their own. So I'm going to click down there and click on that line, and there you go. So since we're learning about dimensioning, one of the things that I did, I kind of did this on purpose, is if you notice I did break a dimensioning rule. I have dimension lines that are crossing, and that can be confusing. I suppose since this is a fairly simple part, you could probably get away with it, but technically what I should do is instead of dimensioning these steps here, do it over here. And if I take those same things and do it on this part, then I won't have my dimension lines crossing, and it'll look a little bit nicer overall. So I'm just actually going to pause while I do that, and you can see the difference in just a second. So instead of the dimensioning the contour here, I did it there. I can just click on this and hit delete. Click on this and hit delete. And now my part just got a lot cleaner for just showing somebody how to make the part. I also need a couple of dimensions up here. I need to know where the hole is and the width yet. So I'm just going to dimension that width first. Keep in mind that when you're doing that, this is considered the in-between space this way. And then to get that hole, I am going to click on that leader line and the bottom, boom. Click on this and that leader line, and boom. If you don't like those 0.75s being in between, you can, or on the outside, you can drag them up to put them in between, like so, and I can move that one over like so. I do need the radius of the circle, and the best spot to probably put that, make sure I'm dimensioning, is drag it down this way. Seems good right there. I am going to double click that one. Hit escape to get out of the dimensioning tool. Double click, space, through. And that way it shows up as a through hole, so somebody else knows that that hole is going all the way through. And there are a couple other dimensions that I could add just to help with the steps here so that people know where those are. So I'm just going to put those in up here on this view. We would need to know this. So I'm just going to drop that one out there, and I need to know this other step is only 1/2 inch. Keep in mind that you always have your smallest closest, so I'm actually going to move this one out a little bit even though it's a hole, just to make sure I'm following through with the guidelines that are supposed to be there. Holes kind of do get their own designation, but I'm still then following the general pattern of how a dimensioning is supposed to work, where the smallest numbers are closest and the largest numbers are further away. Somebody could make this part now and they understand all the different dimensions and they know where everything's at. So good luck making the part. Take a snip of this, put it into a PDF file, and submit it on Schoology.